Hey, what's up everybody? So I'm going to talk to you today about MyGuide by Empower Me. This is version 10, latest version. So real quick, we're at the home screen. I got some reminders from earlier today and some that are coming up. And we also have my shelf. Hey, I'm Joe, by the way. We also have a few guides here that I've recently used, and as well as this health and wellness shelf, which is a shared shelf that I recently went to. So, just kind of like a quick reference of everything. So that's kind of cool. Starting out, we're just going to go to this hamburger menu and kind of look at a few of the options. So real quick, I'm going to click on my little picture down here, and this comes to the account settings. So this is for the user's account, and you can change a few things. So real quick, we'll start with this pencil here. And this is where you can change your name, email address, password, picture, all that cool stuff. So there's also some guardians, which that's a little bit more advanced than what I want to talk about today. But basically the guardians is something that the user will choose, and those guardians that the user chooses will get the reports as far as what guides were played, how long they took, and what their answers were. And so guardians can be anywhere. Could be a parent, could be a tech mentor, a school teacher, something along those lines. But again, a little bit more advanced than what I want to talk about today. But if we click on this triple dot menu, we can not only sign out, but check this out, we can report a problem. So if you have an issue, anything at all, type it in there. It sends out to the folks to Empower Me, and they'll fix you right up and get you moving. So kind of cool. All right, so coming back down here, oh look, we also have this little flag. That's also that's the reporting. So if you are a guardian and you want to see those reports, click on there, and you'll be able to see those reports. Then we also have this settings. Now these are the app settings. So app settings are pretty cool. Just like any other app, you can kind of customize it to your liking, to what you like. So for example, appearance, you can make it a dark mode if you want. Anyway, you can play around with that, see what all's in there. But I do want to point out this cool feature. If we go to accessibility, we have text to speech, and this is pretty cool. I'm going to turn that on so I can show you what that does. But basically, it turns the text into speech. So moving on the list, we got the home screen, which is that's what we just saw. Had my shelf on it, some of the recent guides and whatnot. So we've seen that. Then there's the public library. Public library is actually for those in the Empower Me community. So these are guides that Empower Me has provided for everybody to use, that allows them to download them to their My Shelf and all that. So pretty cool stuff. Then there's My Shelf. Now My Shelf is specific to this guide, to this user, to this device. So those guides can go onto the guides that are in My Shelf can be customized and edited to that user's liking or needs. So that's pretty cool. Shared libraries. Shared libraries are for sharing it between other people, whether it be other users or, more importantly, through like a tech mentor or a family member, something like that. So you can share those different lessons and guides within those libraries. Then there's an organization library. Now those are shared, but they're a lot larger groups of people. So for example, a classroom or a school or group home. So that's pretty cool. We're going to start off with going to My Library. And as you can see, I have Joe's shelf, which is me, and we have a shared shelf. So I'm going to go to My Shelf, and these are all the guides that are in there. And so real quick, I'm going to give you a quick tour. The plus, you can create a whole entire guide from scratch. Now that is a bit advanced, so we're not going to go into that today. But we got this triple dot menu. You can click on it, and you can go to shelf settings, which is pretty cool. Check it out. You can change the name, you can change the color, the icon, font if you want, all kinds of cool stuff in there. You can delete it, but obviously be careful, because once it's gone, it's gone. So you can also focus this shelf. You can play around with all this stuff later though. I want to get into the actual guides themselves. So we're going to go to morning routine, and we're just going to go to play. Tell my guide about your morning. Hey, check this out. Remember how we turned on that text to speech? I'm going to tap and hold.
Tell my guide about your morning. Swipe or tap to start.
Pretty cool, huh? So now, say I don't want that feature though, right? I can go to this gear. There it is. Text to speech. I'm just going to turn it off. Don't have to hear it anymore. So that's really cool, really quick feature that's added. You can turn it on and off as you needed, or as wanted. So going through, how'd you wake up? Woke up with my alarm today. We're gonna go into the next one. How you feeling? You know, just woke up, I'm a bit hungry. So anyway, we go through waffles. You know, who doesn't like waffles? I had that for breakfast. We had some cereal. You know, it's great. So anyway, you kind of get the idea. You go through, you choose this. Now, keep in mind, when I talked about guardians, all of the choices that I'm making, that information is going to be sent off to those guardians that I chose. So they're able to see my answers. So if I didn't take my medicine this morning, that guardian is going to know that I didn't take it. But again, that gets into more advanced stuff and we can talk about that later. So let's go ahead and close out of this. What I do want to show you is how you can get some other guides onto your shelf. So I'm going to go into the public library and we'll go to community guides. Then I'm going to get this order pizza. I want that in my own library. So I'm going to click on it, but instead of hitting play, I'm going to come down here to copy. So that copied it. We're going to go back to my library. I'm going to go to my shelf and then I'm going to click this little clipboard up here. If you notice that popped up. Now it's going to download that onto my device and it's going to go ahead and get that onto my shelf. Now depending on internet connection, it might take a little bit longer than some people. So we'll just give it a few minutes and let it do its thing. All right, perfect. So check it out. We got my pizza up here, or a pizza order. So we're gonna go ahead now. Hey, I want to edit this, but check it out. Instead of hitting play, we're gonna go to edit. But before we do, I'm gonna show you this more. Under more, we still have the play, edit, and copy, but we have a few other options. If you scroll down, we got get a link. So we can actually send that link to a friend if they have it so they can play it, or Tech Mentor can send it to a user. But there's also add to calendar. So remember on that home screen, it had all those reminders. So those reminders came from here. You can add this to your calendar and you can edit it in the calendar just like any other event in the calendar. And what's cool about it is it creates a unique code. So you can click on it and it takes you directly to the guide. But anybody that has that link, they're not going to be able to use it. It's specific to this user, to this guide. So it's a bit more technical and cool stuff. But anyway, that's in there. You can play with it and have those reminders for you. But right now, I want to show you editing. So I'm going to click edit. And so this is the front cover of it. I like it. No need to change it. But here, clearly a bunch of pound signs is not a good number to call. So I'm going to click on it to edit, and I'm going to hit set text. And now from here, I can edit the text just like I can edit any other text on the device, like a text message. So I don't have a pizza number offhand, so I'm just going to make one up and just kind of put in some random numbers, and that should be legit. And I accidentally deleted that R, so we'll put that back. There you go. Perfect. But hey, check it out. We can do all kinds of other changes as well. So we can do the text size. I can make it a little bit bigger if I wanted to. Go to 60 there. Yeah, so it's a little bit bigger. We can set the text color, the justification. So is it in the middle? Is it at the top? Is it at the bottom? We can set the font. Check this out. We get all kinds of different fonts in there, just like a handful of them. You can pick your favorite one, and just have fun with it. Make it your own. And yeah, so we can set the background, which is that orange box there. All kinds of cool stuff. Have fun with it, but it is editable. You can click on pick up. I'm going to change that to delivery because delivery is pretty popular these days, especially with COVID and all. So again, boom, there it is. You can, hey, if you want to change the background too, say you want to have a different photo or you want just a color, if you click on anywhere in the background, now we have a bunch of settings that we can do for it. If you want to choose the image, it goes right into your device's photos, so you can select an image there. So if you want to take a photo and use it, you can do that as well. So real cool stuff. Again, so there's a lot in there, but I really encourage you to jump in there and play around. So one other thing that I want to point out that's really cool, check out these boxes. If I click on that, these are all the pages in the guide. So it lays it out real nice for you. You can see which one is which. And then those arrows, you can reorder it. So you can move this over one, over. If I click on it, it opens it up. I can edit right there. I can go back to the overview. I can rearrange it again. If I want, I can click these triple dots. I can duplicate the page. So say I want the same thing, but I want to change the next step just a little bit differently. I can duplicate it and then change the next page just as we changed the other ones earlier. You can delete them if you want. If you don't need that step or you accidentally duplicated it, you can delete it. If you want to start a whole new page from scratch, you can do that. Again, that's a little bit more advanced, so we can get into that another time. Or I encourage you to play with it yourself and see what you can find. But that's pretty much it. We'll go ahead and exit out of this. But there's all kinds of things that you can do once you really get into editing. There's certain things you can put in a timer on there, so you can't advance to the next slide until that time is up. You can do all kinds of stuff. So I encourage you to play around with it. So back into my shelf, I'm going to go ahead and go to this pizza. We just changed a few things. Let's go ahead and play it, and there it is. Check it out. Numbers right there. You can call it delivery. These are all the changes that we just made. And again, this information will be sent to those guardians if you have chosen to do that. So just real cool stuff. So that's pretty much MyGuide as a quick tutorial. I really encourage you guys to go through it and play around with it and see what you can get. I hope that answered a lot of your questions and also intrigued you guys.